You have merely glimpsed the edge of the abyss, but it is enough to trigger the cycle of revelation. Now, like me, you will begin to see things as they truly are.
Considering what ended up happening to you, I'm having a hard time seeing that as a good thing, Ancestor. Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and I return to Darkest Dungeon. So, we got some new people. Let's see, I think what I'm going to go for is one of each class, since we have 4 empty seats on the roster. So, an Abomination.
Tortured and reclusive. This man is more dangerous than he seems.
And then a Highwayman. Don't have anything to say about the Highwayman? Okay. And a
The raw
Man-at-Arms.
strength of youth may be spent, but his eyes hold the secrets of 100 campaigns.
And finally, McDowell or Arablast.
Shoot, bandage, and pillage. The dancing steps of war.
Okay. What was happening with Columbell's character portrait? And now Pennant is looking a little... Did they just start doing that now? Like, is that a side effect of, Is that a side effect of having the, having completed part of the Darkest Dungeon, that this will occasionally happen? Where they'll look all distorted until I mouse over their portrait? That's trippy. Okay, so... Our 3 of the 4 who went on the previous mission to the Darkest Dungeon are all receiving stress treatment. Let me quick sort by class. I believe we only have 2 Vestals. Yeah, Corey is our only low-level Vestal. Right, go back to sorting by level. See if there's anybody who could use some upgrades. It's T-Nell. Upgrade her armor. Dureri is still good. Wassel, I could upgrade his weapon, but it's kind of not worth it. Right, Bertrand, Sordaval, Fairfax. Ooh, Pennant really needs some work. Lebert, maybe. Not Ide or Vilhardane. I'm really getting into the low-level people, but the thing is... Did he just, like, blink out of existence for a second? Something weird happened with the blacksmith. But the thing is, we're gonna need to... Since... Heroes who have been to the Darkest Dungeon can't go back to the Darkest Dungeon. We're gonna need to train up a new batch of people who can go there. Alright, nobody else can really be upgraded. So, let's see, we have 1,200 gold. Let's look into upgrading abilities. And as usual, I'm going to focus first on the more experienced people. And that's honestly all I can afford to spend. I can check the Nomad Wagon, but it wouldn't do much good. Okay, let's find ourselves a mission. So for this mission only, there are no level restrictions. And also... Heroes with the torch indicator have, heroes who have been to the Darkest Dungeon, let's demonstrate this, cannot go back to the Darkest Dungeon, never again. Heroes who have returned from a successful quest in the Darkest Dungeon have seen too much. Depending on which game mode and game options you have selected, they may choose to never go back or simply be stressed upon re-entry. So... But apparently they also give a bonus to experience to other heroes who participate in missions with them. the thing is, the only Darkest Dungeon veteran who isn't currently being treated for a disease is Druel. And I really want to train up my new Vestal because we only have 2. So I have an idea. So a medium difficult let's see. With an intermediate difficulty mission. Let's see, what's a good one? Okay, so I have a plan. I'm going to go on a medium-length mission in the Warrens to detoxify the corpses. And for that mission, I'm bringing a Vestal of the lowest resolve level, and then 3 champions. So we have Koliar, and then I'll bring Tinel and Dureri. So 3 people of the highest level to try and train our Vestal up as quickly as possible. Our Vestal who has a weak grip on life. Wonderful. Just right out of the box, she has a weak grip on life. Okay, so she gets the Sacred Scroll. And more importantly, she gets the Ancestor's Portrait. Revelation? I guess I'll find out what that is later. The Jester gets the Bloody Dice and the Bright Tambourine. The Abomination gets the Restraining Padlock and the Protective Padlock. I'm probably going to need him to transform. And let's see, what can the Hellion get? Let's see, the Tempting Goblet is that's really more of a man-at-arms kind of item. The Martyr's Seal is definitely good. And yeah, the Legendary Bracer. So, basically we have one person who absolutely should not be going on a mission like this, and 3 people who can definitely handle it. And the idea is that since it's an intermediate difficulty mission, these 3 could probably handle it without the help of the Vestal. And so the Vestal is basically just there to get some experience. Actually, yeah, 2. Bring plenty of torches, because the Weald has long hallways. That should be enough torches. Lots of anti-venom, a handful of bandages, a couple of keys, don't need very many keys, and plenty of food. Wait, 8 is what I want on that stack. Okay, well, initiating Operation Stupid Plan. Yep, fungal artillery with their Mark of Death. That could be a problem.
Excise the fungal
learn how to
tumors,
explore that ourselves.
and the land may yet live.
Okay, so this is a really generous map, honestly. This is one of the best map layouts we could reasonably have. Alright, not bothering with going to the dead end. And we already have a key. Or a thing that uses a key, rather.
For a task well performed.
I don't know. That's a pretty plain-looking reward. I mean, heirlooms this late in the game. That's not a terribly handsome
victory.
Reward. Right. And another curio, and then a room battle with a curio. Of course, we could end up with going a pretty long way before we get to our first corpse that we need to disinfect. So that could be a bit of an issue. And the variation in stress resistance is already showing itself, with the Vestal being up to 30% stress despite nothing having happened yet. And wouldn't you know it, something happened. Wicked Hack.
Decimated.
I will feast on your hearts. Okay, Beast's Bile will do 2 to 3 of their 14 hit points, and then Blight for 5. They have 80% Blight resistance. I'm just going to go with Mana Blade. It can at least stun. I forgot to change her ability set, so the Vestal is just going to kind of have to idle for this mission. I'm so particular about how I equip Vestals that but what abilities I have Vestals use that I don't even think about the possibility that a new Vestal might not have those abilities. I might not have them equipped. Because I always set my Vestal up the same way, so I never remember to check. Alright. Manacles. Still just a stun. Not even a stun. And the Rush of Rabies.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
And even more rapidly rushing. Get yourself a bandage and get yourself some healing. And let's go with Inspiring Tune on the Vestal, because frankly she needs it.
Slowly.
That's one.
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
Another bandage, and this one will die on its next turn, so you may as well just use Absolution. And fortunately, we brought ourselves a jukebox. Got ourselves a jester to keep the stress levels low. Doesn't appear to be a curio interaction here. And apparently that made her a Weald Explorer. I'm just gonna not ask too many questions about how that happened. Oh. Also, Judgment, Dazzling Light, and Divine Comfort. Okay. You do at least have all of the abilities. Whoa. And that's what failing to scout gets us. Okay. Fortunately, we brought plenty of supply items. And more violence. Wonderful. Slice Off deals 4 points of bleeding damage. Yeah, it isn't fully upgraded. Wait, Harvest, yeah, Harvest won't hit the one in the back. Slice Off, 4 points of bleeding plus 5. And I need a critical to kill in 1, but I can relatively easily kill in 2. So yeah, it gets to attack once and then it dies. Rapid Rush. Alright. This guy is really dangerous. Stun chance of 130%, so 50% chance after the resistance. 110%, so Corey actually has a chance to stun the giant. It's just a low chance.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Fortunately, I can always pretty much reach it with Wicked Hack. Okay, Poison Spores, fortunately on the hero for whom that's the easiest to mitigate. Thank you,
Great
Adrenaline
is the
Rush.
weapon that cuts on its own.
I'm gonna go with Beast Bile for a couple of
Powerful
turns.
blow.
It allows me to get rid of her, too. And Adrenaline Rush. And if I go for Harvest... Ooh, yep, that's the end of her. Alright. Again, your chance of stunning is pretty low, but it isn't 0. And there it is. Tree Branch Smackdown.
Lapse in concentration.
Gotta keep the Vestal from becoming afflicted. Though, that really isn't entirely true, because we don't really need the Vestal for this mission. I mean, I don't know, the healing is somewhat helpful, but the Resolve level 1 Vestal isn't really going to be contributing a lot to this. If it bleeds... keep accumulating the bleeding. Okay, Confusion Spores. Fortunately, instead, they were Inaccuracy Spores, apparently. Inspiring Tune, we basically got this guy handled. His stun resistance is back down to normal.
Inspiration and
Let's just keep trying to stun him one last time. There we go. Divine Grace for all the good it'll do. And oh, it did some good. I mean, I was expecting it to do effectively nothing, because that's the kind of healing this Vestal is capable of at this level. that is effectively nothing relative to the hit points of her teammates. Well, there we go. That's the end of the giant. No point in doing anything other than absolution. And inspiring tune. Oh, the Vestal stress is down to 0.
Their cursed champion falls.
So... The Hellion
The way
is in...
is lit.
I'm actually
The
going to
path
leave
is
these
clear.
behind, honestly, because
We
I don't
require
have
only the
anything I
strength
can
to follow
reasonably
it.
drop. The Hellion is in a bit of a state, but other than that, we actually are doing pretty well for the end of the mission. Okay, medicinal herbs. That'll probably get us food. Oh, we can feed the rest of it to Tino. Also, we have enough to feast the next time we make camp to reduce the stress. Which is good because ghoul. Fortunately, we can't run into Hateful Virago. Okay. So if you're going to inflict damage, the only thing you can damage is the ghoul. Well, fortunately, that's kind of what we need because the ghoul has very high protection and very low bleed resistance. Like so. Unfortunately, their blight resistance is really high. At least stunning them does some good, and you can reach it with if it bleeds. And it does, in fact, bleed. Alright. As usual, go with the usual, dazzling light.
The light, the promise of safety.
She already has rabies. How bad can it get? Scorpius. Oh, now they're all stunned. Keep up the if it bleedsing on the ghoul. And there we go. Alright, that's the end of 2 of them. Now we just need to get rid of the last Nasher. Which means we can afford to spend a turn healing. Okay, that's it. Now all we have is the rabid skeleton dog. That's not a thing you ever expect yourself to say. So not only are they zombie dogs, they're rabid zombie dogs. Well, this should do it.
Their formation
So,
is broken.
Even though they're
Maintain
skeletal,
the offensive.
even though the dogs are clearly some flavor of undead, they aren't considered unholy. That's interesting. Also, we have yet to encounter a quest location. And we still haven't. This is gonna be quite a hike.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Honestly, right now, we kind of have the opposite problem. Well, we know how to deal with this guy. Unfortunately, with the inexperienced Vestal we're carrying around, this could be a bit of an issue. Battle Ballad. We're going to need the bonus to critical hits.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
Alright, stun resistance is higher than your stun chance, so Judgment. May as well zap him for a little bit of damage. Wicked Hack, because you can't reach him with if it bleeds. Stun resistance is still elevated, so we'll just have to keep zapping him. Beat up the Battle Ballad. A critical would make a big difference right about now. Alright, so now he brings up Collect Call. What do we got? Okay, so... let's see. You know what? It's a time to perform beyond one's limits. Okay. 14 to 25 damage with Rage. You just keep it up with Iron Swan. Yeah, that's what I like it when Iron Swan does that. Okay, Rake. Mainly just to get rid of the one in the front.
enemy crumbles.
Because now he's within range of our real damaging abilities. If we can stun him, that'd be amazing, but I can live without it. And I wanted to stun him to stop him from doing that. Fortunately, the Jester knows when to duck, probably from all of his experience dodging tomatoes, and if it bleeds, should finish the job for us. Now we just need to survive. Because all you can do is block. Headhunt could still cause serious problems, though. Go ahead and transform back. And go for Absolution. And yeah, we're just going to spend our time healing until he keels over. Unfortunately, we're running a bit low on bandages.
The blood quickens.
And Adrenaline Rush to do basically nothing. And Divine Grace to do hopefully slightly more than nothing.
Compassion is a rarity in the fever pitch.
Okay, we have to do with Head Knock, which is basically just Rampart.
A predator is often blind to its own peril.
And we get ourselves a Trapezihedra to
These
fill up the
nightmarish
inventory
creatures
slot
can be
emptied by the
felt.
bandages.
They can be beaten.
See, running out of bandages was a good thing when you think about it. Manacles. Battle Ballad. Because that's the best idea I can come up with right
A
now.
brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
Why? That's normally a critical hit line. What triggered you to say that? For now, we can stick with Dazzling Light. And, TNL, why don't you find out whether or not this thing bleeds? It does, in fact, bleed. That means we can kill it. Oh, right, you can... Wait, do I want to do that, though? Because that will... No, I want you to use Inspiring Tune again. No, Battle Ballad. Just keep buffing everyone. A good critical hit or two could turn the tide easily. And Miss of Vulnerability. Okay, 130% versus 100 Beast Bile. I'm not going for a 10% chance to stun when I can do that. And there's no reason for the Vestal not to get back into formation. Okay, he is a mixture of blighted and bleeding for a total of 11. Hoo-hoo. And there's Battle Ballad paying off. But now I am actually going to get everybody back into position.
A decisive pummeling.
Okay, that's the end of her. That's, I believe they're both done.
A momentary
healing.
abatement.
Oh no, he is now. He just gets that one last tree branch smackdown. So, stick with the pointless Adrenaline Rush. Inspiring Tune on the only person who has any stress. This is what happens when you bring champions to a veteran mission. It's
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
I don't know, that was looking pretty foreseen. Like, it was so foreseen I built my strategy around it.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Am I missing something? Okay, we finally have a quest location. Good. It took forever, but we finally have a quest location. Finally got to cleanse an infected corpse.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
Okay, we finally have our first quest location, and to match it, we have our first hunger. So, this is slightly less generous of a map than I was suggesting, considering how all of this is playing out. Oh, and ectoplasm. And it even starts the mission with an empty spot,
Blazing star
which means
is
it can
born.
copy itself immediately. Let's prevent it from doing that.
Press
Like
this
so.
advantage.
That is how we
Give
prevent
them no
that.
quarter.
small chance of finishing him off. And a large chance of finishing him off. You know, I realized you were conscripted, so you may not get this, but you know, once you're dead, it's okay for you to leave the army. You know, by the time you're dead and buried, it's okay. You've served your tour of duty, and it's okay for you to go home. You know, go home, start a family, raise little bone children. You don't need to keep fighting after you've died.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Okay, and more loot.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
I'll drop the extra shovels. We won't need them at this rate. This has been a really empty map, too. Like, this map just is leaving me feeling empty and deprived. There's just so little here. I mean, there's supposed to be 3 fungal thingies, but we've only found 1. And we're most of the way through the map.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Okay. Gamble on dropping medicinal herbs. Room battle on a sarcophagus. Okay. Slice off. Pretty much needs a critical, so instead, start with Battle Ballad. Manacles. So we could at least stun, that'd be helpful. Judgment. Alright, I really shouldn't have used Judgment. Yeah, I really should have used Dazzling Light instead of Judgment to stun this guy. But we're at least rid of one of the Nashers. Okay, it's not the worst possible configuration we could have ended up in, but it's close. Okay, at least he's out for the turn. Move all the way to the back. That lets the Hellion get closer. You can still use Dazzling Light, but instead, just move. Now, we're gonna have to tolerate one Rapid Rush, fundamentally because I screwed up. But fortunately, only one. Yeah, that shuffling ability can really mess things up. And I could move you, but honestly, I'm just going to stick with Battle Ballad and hope for critical hits. I want this guy to die quickly. If it bleeds, is I believe likely to do more damage in total, so long as it inflicts the bleeding. Actually, against an enemy with 0 protection, I'm not sure that's true. I mean, if he had a protection value, then bleeding damage, which ignores protection, might do more in total, but no. Wicked Hack is actually the more damaging ability against this kind of enemy. And
The wounds of war can be healed,
okay.
but never hidden.
The available evidence suggests that we're going to be finishing this fight with full health and 0 stress.
Soothed, sedated.
Stick with Battle Ballad. Just keep the critical hits coming. And
Perhaps the turning point.
you know, it's moments like these that I kind of feel like a griefer. I kind of feel like I'm picking on the poor innocent little enemies when I finish a mission and we have less stress and more health than we had when we started. Even so, I'm making camp
Huddled
just
together,
because
furtive and
I can actually do
vulnerable.
half because no one's injured.
Rats in a maze.
I don't really have much of a reason to make camp, but I have to do something. So let's go for Sanctuary. And then what else have we got? Tiger's Eye on the Hellion. Battle Trance on the Hellion. And that should be good. I'm honestly mostly just trying to clear up inventory space because I'm tired of having to leave loot behind. And I mean, we're not actually going to need to make camp in order to heal ourselves at this point. Okay, this one requires bandages, which we're out of. I'm gonna discover that I've walked past one of the quest locations, aren't I? Well, that would be indicated on the map. So, I mean, there's enough space for them yet in the forward direction, but they're just gonna be all clustered around this last area right at the end. Wow. Yep, okay, that's number 2. Also, I say I feel like I'm griefing. I kind of am. I brought a team of 3 champions to a veteran level mission. And because they just love surprising us. Okay, Manacle. I have a plan. Okay, you have to get back into position. I'm gambling on Battle Ballad. This is probably a mistake, but I want to prevent them from using Mark Prey. So, Iron Swan has an okay chance of killing it, but it didn't. Okay, wonderful. We're going to have to deal with 1 round of Mark Prey. Fortunately, it's on somebody who can take it. Yeah, that protective padlock is doing him a lot of good. Alright, finish that one off. Okay, we're not going to stun... Oh, it's only 95% stun resistance. We may actually stun this one. But we didn't. Oh, and Manacles can't kill it either, so we're going to have to deal with more than... Well, they can't kill it, but they can stun it, apparently. So, champion-level stunning abilities are overpowered, and I love them. Manacle should kill, and we see how far should gets you in this game. Harvest will kill. If it bleeds, to get rid of the one that's closer to death. Alright. And Corey, why don't you start putting the Abomination back together? I mean, he is an Abomination, but he's our Abomination. We want to make sure he's nice and healed up. Bleeding for 6, slice off and we'll finish it.
The ground quakes.
There we go. And he certainly found that amusing. Okay, Corey, why don't you just... I realize you've just had a long day in the last 5 minutes, having suddenly become the target of everything. So, Dururi, why don't you vent your frustrations on that last fungal grabber? Like that, yes. And not to be outdone, T-Nell decides to get a rather timely critical hit. And there we go. And the crowd goes wild as he returns to human form.
Push on to the task's end.
And let's get rid of the blighted, fattened corpse. I'm not going to ask how that got there. And let's get back to the hamlet. I want to see how much experience our Vestal got.
Good fortune and hard work may yet arrest this plague.
After we arrest it, what are we going to do? Throw it in prison? Oh, the other kind of arrest. Alright. Well, 14,000 gold, not too bad. That didn't have as much of an effect as I was hoping it would have. She did gain some experience, at least. Kind of feel as a guilty conscience. Dureri has the Black Plague. Okay, Fast Healing replaced Hard Noggin. That's unfortunate. Hard Noggin is fundamentally the better ability. And T-Nell has Irrepressible instead of Wheeled Explorer. That's definitely good. Also, I love the color palette going on here. Dureri's 3 collections of afflictions are, I believe that's the Italian flag. Red, white, and green. So he's representing his Italian heritage, apparently.
Pallid blight filters its way through the rotting boughs. Let us press on.
So we got ourselves Sunshine in the Thicket. Corey made some progress, but she still is diseased, and that disease is rabies, which is reduced accuracy but increased damage. I want her to go on the next mission because I want her to get more experience, so I'm just going to let her continue to have rabies. I'm treating Durari's Black Plague, though. But I'm just going to let the Vestal continue to have rabies because, honestly, it's not that bad. It affects her ability to stun enemies, which is a bit of a problem, but she's mostly a healing character anyway, so it's not that bad. And let's see if the Nomad Wagon has anything good. A Bloody Herb. Not bad, but it only really enhances Incision. Commander's Orders, I believe we've seen that one before. Cursed Incense is okay, but honestly his debuff abilities don't really fail that often. Warrior's Cap is alright, but then we just get into the common stuff. So, let's see. What else can we... Where is the Jester that went on that mission? Canuville. He's busy turning into an abomination, and I'm in the wrong place. I noticed a number of his skills aren't fully upgraded. I've decided to fix that. Dirk Stab can wait. Also, Finale is actually... I'm thinking about applying that because the way it works is basically every one of his abilities increases the damage of Finale, and some also increase its chance to get a critical hit. And so I could potentially just kind of save up. Also, it can hit any enemy position. I'm going to invest a little bit in that skill. And while I'm at it, let's see if I can invest in the Vestal. There we go. And I believe these guys are all as upgraded as they can be. Let's see if the same applies to their equipment. Actually, I should probably upgrade at least the Vestal's armor. Alright. And before we go on another mission, I'm going to quick get us up a fresh recording file. So, I will be back in a moment.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay, I want to hold on to any more gold that we have. And I couldn't potentially trade anyone out for a Vestal because there are no Vestals in the stagecoach. So let's see what they've got for us. So you have Sunshine in the Thicket, so I can't send them. And so the Vestal with rabies can stay. Let's do an experiment. Yeah, so I still can't send... Alright, so he can't go... The champions with the torch icons can't go on missions to the Darkest Dungeon, and also can't go on missions... Still can't go on missions that are beneath their experience. However, I have been told one of the effects of... one of the effects of having been to the Darkest Dungeon is that a hero gets increased... gives their fellow heroes increased experience. Alright, wait, back. I missed a step. Gotta check the equipment. Equip all trinkets. Sort my character class restriction. For you, I have Wrathful Bandana and the Fuseman's Matchstick. For you, I have Vol's Tassel and the Gunslinger's Buckle. You can use Pistol Shot in position 2, right? Yes. Shot Blast, Pistol Shot, Tracking Shot, and Open Vein. And for you, it's been a while since I outfitted a Man-at-Arms. I have 0 Man-at-Arms specific equipment. Oh, I have 1. I have the Cleansing Eye Patch. Oh, you're gonna need that for going into the thicket. And other than that, well... Flesh's Heart is always good. Now for the Vestal, give her the Portrait and the, I don't want to give her two different things that increase her stress, so I'll combine that with the Sacred Scroll rather than the Ancestor's Scroll. Unfortunately, they don't make an Elder Scroll that I could give her. Alright. Shovels. Some torches. Some food. And this time we're not griefing, this time we actually have to fight for real. Because we're not bringing champions to a mid-level mission. Plenty of anti-venom and plenty of bandages. We are likely to need both. I already did the keys. And looks like I have everything, which means I definitely don't have everything, and we'll find out what I missed. Paths are littered with poisonous traps? You don't say.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves.
Oh.
Let us burn out this evil.
That's some impressive scouting for right at the beginning, and with this being a low-level mission, the map we get at the beginning is rather generous. Beast carcass, which is all food.
Nature herself.
Already glad I brought a shovel.
Victim to the spreading corruption.
I do have to wonder how do
Malformed with misintent.
I do have to wonder how do the shovels break that easily? Like, it's a shovel. They should be able to hold together pretty well, or is it that are we buying like discount shovels because we get a good price on them and that's why they're so cheap? I mean, that would explain the Ancestor's comment about spending, depleting the family fortune on swarthy men and sturdy shovels. If he's buying if he keeps buying budget shovels and they all suck and break really easily. I'm still going for Crush.
Annihilated.
I feel vindicated in that decision. Unfortunately, we still have to deal with some of that bullshit. Alright. And I can't, yeah, you have no way of marking enemies, so just go with Pistol Shot for now. Fortunately, as long as nobody's marked, they're reduced to using Broken Swipe. Anti-Venom and Sniper Shot will do 5 to 10, so decent chance of killing.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
This may just be kind of a mental bias I have, but it really feels like when I need it to do a particular amount of damage or more to kill an enemy, it always does exactly that amount of damage. I forgot to equip Sniper's Mark. Oops. Like, I needed it to do 8 damage to kill the enemy, so it did exactly 8 damage. Okay. Well, Grape Shot Blast will kill that one and wound the other one.
The enemy crumbles.
And his stun... These things' stun resistance is just terrible. And then Pistol Shot continues to do its work. A little bit of nice quick healing in. And because it's knocked back, I can hit it with Sniper Shot.
Maintain the offensive.
Okay, now let's fix the... I knew I was gonna forget something. Look at what I forgot. Guess who doesn't know Sniper's Mark? Yep. And because of that, we are left with no ability to mark enemies, rendering Wolf's Tassel almost completely useless. The only benefit is the extra critical versus size 2 enemies. Oops. Well, let's be honest. We all knew I would screw this up somehow. The only question is exactly how I was going to do it. And Spitters! We're fighting Spitters. Wait. No, never mind. For a second it looks like they have the wrong number of legs, but nope, they have 8 legs, just like all good arachnids should. Oh. And the Man-at-Arms is showing his inner leper.
Begone, fiend.
Fortunately, McDowell is going to take care of the problem. I'm actually sticking with Grape Shot Blast for now. There's a reason for that.
As the fiend falls,
And that's it.
a faint hope blossoms.
The issue is, since they don't leave behind corpses, if I kill the one in position 1, then the Arablest won't be able to hit the other one. And this is the one that requires bandages. Well, we have bandages.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
It is kind of interesting. So, early in the game, 90% of what we're about is trying to get gold and trying to get heirlooms so that we can upgrade and train up heroes and stuff. And at this point, well, heirlooms don't matter at all. Gold only
Cruel
matters a little bit.
Spring to life.
And all that
With a
really matters is
singular
experience. It's just kind of interesting how the priorities shift as the game progresses. That at this point, this is fundamentally a training exercise for these new heroes. Oh, wonderful. Give me just barely not enough scouting. Well, the scouting was enough to detect that trap, so it's not completely useless. We've definitely had worse instances of completely redundant scouting. And more gold. I've actually made okay money off of this mission.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
And that is a holy water interaction. We don't have any holy water. And a crazy guy! Crazy guy and his puppies, apparently. Alright, pistol shot. Because I can finish that off with sniper shot and avoid having to deal with all the stress. Or perhaps I can't. Okay, crush. And and it manages to do 1 damage less than I needed. Okay, that is one nimble fucking crazy guy. The guy I aim with my very carefully aimed sniper shot, and he just ducks under it and takes no damage. And so, having the professional sniper having failed, we decide to resort to divine intervention, and he manages to evade divine intervention. I mean, it takes a bit more than knowing when to duck to avoid divine judgment.
Continue the onslaught.
I'm really liking Grape Shot Blast in this situation, especially since Pistol Shot is a lot less helpful than it would otherwise be. Okay, and you can't... That's an end to the extra stress, with only the Arablest really being in a bad way. Actually, you know, Grape Shot Blast will probably kill all of the enemies next turn. So I may as well just use
Compassion is a rarity in the
tracking
fevered
flare.
pitch of battle.
So I could have spared us 1 rabid rush. But there we go.
This expedition at least promises success.
Okay, there was a... Excuse the cough. There was, in fact, a reason for us to do that, then. Right, 7. Crush! And now we have to do a Grain of Blight.
Quickly the tide turns.
Oh, we were bound to get hit by it sooner or later. Well... Pistol shot, reasonably high chance of finishing the enemy off. Okay, what is Judgment's chance to kill? Very low, so instead, I stun one of those two. It's interesting to go back to the novice level missions and realize just how pathetically low enemies' resistances are. But that 25% stun resistance is never going to stop anything. 4 to 8, so it had a chance to finish the enemy off. Healing. And you can finish that one.
Decimated.
That, yeah, I'd say that was a bloody good shot. And... Rampart has 110% chance. Let's just go for Crush. And miss, and render it all meaningless. Fortunately, they're missing each other. And as soon as I say it, it stops being true, like always. almost rid of this thing. Unfortunately, because I forgot to learn Sniper's Mark, we're gonna be doing this the slow way. Okay, the Mark wore off, so he's reduced to Groping Swipe. I believe Groping Swipe is actually less accurate than Rend the Mark. And our Highwayman has decided to take a little bit of payback against the enemy for all those Rend the Marks.
One's limits.
And commence backtracking. Backtracking is when all the interesting things happen, like hunger and random stress surges. Okay, there's no definitive proof that hunger happens more often when you're backtracking, but hunger happens more often when you're backtracking. Prove me wrong.
The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Or change my mind is how that meme goes. And what do we get? Hunger. Well, we're near the end of here, so let's make some camp.
A moment of
And we
respite.
can afford to feast.
A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Sanctuary. Sanctuary! Oh, I could have used Bandit Sense. Let's go with Gallows Humor. Oops. Oh, let's encourage the Aura Blessed. And the Aura Blessed may as well encourage the Man-at-Arms. Okay, only the Aura Blessed is stressed out.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted,
I choose to
and
imagine
purpose is made clear.
that McDowell's high stress level is because she's part of a team composition. She's part of this team composition because of one specific ability which she does not have. I choose to imagine that the whole Sniper's Mark situation is the whole reason why her stress level is so high. So you dazzle her to prevent her from using whatever it's called. I want to call it Fate's Reveal, but it's the lesser version of that. Well, she's dead now anyway. Okay, so we get to be even more gropingly swiped. We've really been... We've been getting a lot of groped and a lot of swiped here. It's like, you know, the swiping is kind of what you expect. It's the groping that you're really not prepared for. You know, I feel like there should be less groping and more swiping, I suppose. Alright. I just rampart that one out of the way and fail to overcome 25% stun resistance. Lovely.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
More groping and swiping and missing. Suppose we can stun the other one. Crush on the not stunned one. And let's see if Rallying Flare does anything. Well, the odds are kind of against it this time. Alright, 4 to 7 and bleed for 2. And not quite enough. It gets one more action. Though, Moncel is doing a very good job of avoiding being groped. Yeah, the Highwayman is very good at avoiding being groped. Which is another on the long list of things I never thought I would say. And there we go. And use excessively powerful healing on the barely damaged Man-at-Arms. Though, if he's taken, like, very little damage so that it's all just damage to his armor, is the Vestal capable of, like, healing his armor?
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
And the contents are mine. Oh, mine! I mean, they're, for the expedition. Okay, one last room battle, and yet another obstacle we'll have to get through first. Ah, more rabies and gnashing.
The light, the promise of
5
safety.
to 9, and they have 10 hit points, so...
Another
that's
abomination cleansed from our lands.
So that's almost 2. That's unfortunate. Well, one of them gets to live. We're gonna have to deal with one, but at least it's only one. And yeah, go ahead, target the Vestal. She already has rabies. Oh, right. By one, I actually meant Okay, now we have two different... Okay, the sniper's rabid 2 now. Wonderful. I'm sure the accuracy penalty won't in any way negatively affect the sniper's ability to do her job.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
And 66 parts in, I'm sure you all know which category I fall into.
Now it must be carried home.
And we have hunger, we have blockage. Hunger followed by blockage. That's a sign that you're not getting. That's a sign that you're not getting enough fiber. You have hunger followed by blockage.
Otherworldly corruption.
And the luggage was trapped. Well, through the power of supply items, we're mostly okay. Ah, and more of these guys. So we've been gropingly swiped, and now we're being rabidly gnashed. Or rabidly... Oh, they're called gnashers, but they rush us. Shouldn't they be... If they're always rushing us, shouldn't they be called rabid rushers?
Executed with impunity.
Hey, before you make fun of me for the bad humor, realize you're listening to me making the bad humor. Alright. Judgment should do it. Okay, so we only have to deal with one of them. And to make certain of that, I'm going with Rampart. I say I'm going to make certain, and the game decides to make certain that I'm not certain. Alright. Well... And the accuracy penalty is having a bit of an effect.
Another one falls.
And Moncel has decided to show us how you're actually supposed to kill something. So no, I'll show you how to kill something. You do it like this. Alright, and crush.
Back to the pit.
Alright, well, let's return to the hamlet with our modest rewards.
Driving out corruption is an endless battle, but one that must be fought.
Yep. What all did we get? Yep, no heirlooms. Mostly selling back the food. And 10,000, not too bad for a novice level mission. And Corey has made it up to intermediate level and now has 2 diseases. And McDowell cannot meditate.
A troubling shortage of ale, and a notable absence of good humor.
I know, Ancestor, you don't have to rub it in. I know the commentary is bad. Well, okay, Corey, at this point, we really do need to treat the ennui, the reduced, and we definitely need to treat the sniper's accuracy penalty. Oh, I seriously have to ask, how does rabies increase the your damage output when you're a sniper? I mean, the Arbalest isn't like hitting people with the crossbow. Though we still don't need to do any stress treatment on anyone. Also, we have a decent stable of champions. I think I know what I'm going to do next. So... And that's going to involve Vilhardane, Pennant, and Aubert. All of whom their equipment is fully upgraded. Let's check out their abilities. So, finish him for Pennant to be upgraded. For Vilhardane... She can stay the way that she is, and Aubert is maxed out. So those are... I have plans for them, and in the meantime, let's treat some negative quirks. Okay. Let's see. So, Tino, Dureri. see, none of these have truly amazingly good... Alright. Treat Puchot's Paranormania. And... let's leave it at that for now. And I'm going to hold on to the rest of my gold until I find a more effective use for it. And I have a plan. Yeah, you guys don't need to do anything. Ancestor's Lantern might be helpful. So, we're bringing Druel, Pennant, Vilhardane, and Aubert. We are bringing a full-on Mark exploitation team. And the thing is, since they're Resolve level 4, they can go on champion level missions along with along with our highly experienced, our legend Vestal. Also, I think I know which mission I'm going on. We're gonna get the Ancestor's Signet Ring, plus 10 accuracy and plus 10% protection. That could be really useful, for instance, on a leper. The increased accuracy, removing the main weakness that is used to balance out the leper's damage output, and also the increased protection to make the most of the leper's high maximum health pool. Of course, and in addition to that, since he has Solemnity, he can reduce his own stress to make up for the stress problem. Though, I can't help but notice that the hero has gained stress symbol is engraved into the signet ring. It feels like it's trying to tell me something. Alright, so you get the Wrathful Bandana and the Fuseman's Matchstick. You get the Sacred Scroll and the Ancestor's Scroll. What do we have that's... Alright. Let's see. It can give you plus 20% damage versus Blighted. Yeah, I'll do that. And... we're going to be fighting Eldritch, so... plus 25% damage versus Eldritch, that could be helpful. The reduction to maximum HP could be a bit of an issue, though. Honestly, let's go with plus 25% Blight skill chance. For you, the Wounding Helmet, and you also get the Wolf's Tassel. Yeah, I've decided to just go all in on Mark exploitation for this team. Could be a bit of an issue that we're going into a long champion level mission with 3 people who are Resolve level 4, but what can you do? Well, if you're not me, you always have the option of not being stupid, but since I'm me, I don't really have that option. And keys, bring a little holy water. I think there's a curio interaction that uses anti-venom, but anti-venom isn't really that important. And some food. A lot of food, because it's a long mission. And a lot of torches for the same reason. Whoa. He blinked for a second. I saw him blink, but I don't see what he blinked into. Alright. The other thing is, you have Sanctuary. You have... Alright. We have the camping skills we're going to need to have. Okay. So it begins. Tentacled lurkers lie in wait just below the water's
These
surface.
salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
Yeah, pelagic nightmares. We got a stinger, a maggot, and a ghoul in the first
As the light
map.
gains purchase, spirits are lifted.
This is going to be a
and
bit of a
purpose is
thing.
made clear.
Okay, so mark. Yeah, your marking reduces the target's protection. Okay, this blight's 3 points for 4 rounds. It will do 1 damage. You know what? Okay, it's still gonna take it 3 rounds to properly die, but I'm okay with that. Alright, sniper shot. Target has... It resisted the debuff, so it doesn't have reduced protection. Sniper's Mark reduces dodge. Its dodge is actually reasonably high, but I think we're just gonna have to live with that. Yep, plus 50% resolve experience for the whole quest. Now we're just gonna have to tolerate the maggot, because it's gonna take everything we've got to deal with the ghoul. Marked for 2 more rounds. 9 to 19, so without a critical, that will not kill that. 2 to 5, so it has a decent chance of reducing its life by 1 turn. Let's try it. Or you can just get a critical and end the thing in 1 shot. Keep it up with Dazzling Light. It has high stun resistance, but we really want that thing to be stunned. Oh, that's bleeding and a half. Right. Fortunately, I somehow managed without... This is what happens when you don't pay attention while you're provisioning. I managed to accidentally bring 12 bandages. We may actually need all of them. Okay, Howl just does stress damage. Not really a thing I should be saying in this game.
Even the boldest gaze.
Snipers... You can dodge Sniper's Mark. Lovely. Didn't dodge that one, did he? And this time the debuff stuck, too. Unfortunately, he probably gets to attack again before we can exploit that. Or not.
A decisive pummeling.
Okay, that was a timely critical. See if we can finish the job.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Oh, strategy's at least sort of working. And the high-level Vestal has at least an okay, with maxed out Dazzling Light, has at least an okay chance to overcome the enemy's stun resistance. All you can really do right now is Sniper's Mark. You can't reach it with Sniper's Mark either. Well, Rallying Flare then.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Okay, this thing's basically done anyway. Worst case scenario, it gets to shock people a couple of times and apparently also inflict diseases. I always underestimate the chance of disease abilities working. Go for the healing.
A momentary abatement.
And thanks to our mastery, our high-level Vestal, we're entering this. We're still ending this fight with full health. We got some stress, but health-wise, we're okay.
So too will resistance.
Okay, I need to drop something. Well, that something is the extra stack of 3 anti-venom that I have for no reason. So, normally I under-prepare, and so in this mission I've decided to counteract that by ridiculously over-preparing. And complete 100% of room battles, and since we don't have scouting, we're gonna have to go all the way down here and get murdered by tentacle monsters.
Possessed by evil intent.
You know, I don't... This may be like a point of contention with you, Ancestor, but I wouldn't classify a tentacle monster as a mechanical hazard. And Altar of the Shambler, and I am not touching that. I'm not going anywhere near that thing. I don't want to end up like Mazar from the document we found a while ago. Okay, and at least... I'm not sure whether to feel good that at least it wasn't pointless that we had to come down here, or to feel bad that now we have to fight fish monsters into thrall. Alright. 6 to 12. Or instead it could do nothing. 9 to 19. Does marking it count to activate its... we'll have next round to attack it either way. And Vilhardane has been spearfished. Barnacle Barrier, that's not as bad as it could be, because this means that now I can hit the champion with Suppressing Fire. Of course, this based on the assumption that I can hit anything with Suppressing Fire. Right. See if we can stun the champion. We can. And with him being stunned, we can now hit the Piranha. The face, and we can follow that up with Collect Bounty, which should kill. Ooh. Looks like Pick to the Face wasn't necessary there. Since the champion is stunned, I can hit the Piranha with Sniper Shot, though it'll take a couple of those to finish it off. The downside is, especially being under-leveled, our Grave Robber is a little fragile to be in position 2. That's going to get her into some trouble. Pennant doesn't have as much of an issue with that due to just being of a less fragile class. And suppressing fire can't. Okay. If we get a critical, that'd be really nice. Instead, we miss. I asked for a critical, and instead you miss. Okay. Of course, the good news is, with such an over-leveled Vestal compared to an under-leveled team, we can raise their health up really quickly after it gets lowered.
A faint hope blossoms.
Which this actually creates a really bipolar and kind of nerve-wracking experience where an attack lowers a hero down to barely any health, and then Druel immediately brings them back up to full.
Their formation is broken.
Okay, that leaves just the champion. Or just, yeah, he is the champion. Well, let's quick heal everyone back up. He is marked. And I can't reach him with Thrown Dagger, but well, I could have reached him with Poison Darts, but I somehow managed to miss. No, the Grave Robber didn't miss. I actually missed.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
And it's our old friend Octocestus. And it's our old other friend, Divine Grace. Thrown Darts will, unsurprisingly, do very little damage. Alright, Collect Bounty does 4 to 9. Or zeros. 0 is also one of the numbers you can do. And Vilhardane can just stick with Rallying Flare and accomplish nothing. It is kind of fun with Druel having it, because of how little maximum health everyone else has compared to her healing abilities. It is kind of fun to watch Druel heal everyone all the way up to full health every round, basically. Alright, Pennant, I need you to do 1 damage. You have managed to fail me. That was actually kind of impressive. Like, that was an impressive amount of failure. Okay, at least it was a mutual miss. You didn't get hit on the other round. You didn't get hit in the process of failing to hit the enemy. And there we go.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay. I'm gonna drop the holy water for some gold. And that's all the gold we can carry. Yeah, we're gonna be in here for a little while. Once again, not touching the schmuck bait that is the Altar of the Shambler. What can be worthwhile sometimes, just a champion level mission with a team of level 4s is not really one of those times.
The way is lit. The path is clear.
This is one of those times
We
where you just
require
nope
only
the
the
fuck
strength
out
to
of
follow
there.
it.
Okay, and Hellish Piranhas. What was that? It couldn't decide. For a second, it couldn't decide which one of them was in front, and so their weapons were all just kind of appearing and disappearing. Okay, that was ineffective.
Exposed to a killing blow.
I'm starting to see the flaw in this plan.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Okay, you're gonna have to go with Divine Comfort because we need to
Cannot
get him
be
off of
escaped.
Death's Door.
But it can be postponed.
Alright. Mark for death. Unfortunately, that reduces protection and not evasion. And I need a high damage roll from you, Vilhardane. That may be close enough. Okay. Flashing Daggers does 5 to 9.
Masterfully
Unless it's a critical, then it does
executed.
13. Okay, good job, Pennant, knowing when to duck. Keep it up with Marked for Death. We need to reduce their numbers so they're less likely to damage you. I'm still going for more healing. I probably should move Druo back, but I want to keep Pennant from dying. That's my priority. Okay. Spear Fishing, which at this point, if it succeeds in moving the Grave Robber, would be helpful. And Vilhardane is really putting up some good numbers. Alright, let's see if we can do that a third time. Okay. I would need a critical to one-shot this thing, so instead, let's move the Vestal back into position 3 so she can do that. This means that the Piranha very well may survive to the next round,
Unnerved.
and that could be a very serious problem. Well, that just undid a large part of my turn, and Vilhardane gives no fucks at all and has decided to just end that thing. Mark for death. Actually, I probably should have just gone for collect bounty. Alright. Move you in again. Okay, that can't kill him because Seaward Slash does not inflict
As
bleeding.
life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
And nope. Just undo that. My vision clears. Okay, and the only thing you can do at this point is Rallying Flare. So just keep it up. It doesn't do a lot, but it does more than nothing. Woohoo! Alright. It would be very helpful if the Vestal could get a turn before the Bounty Hunter, but no such luck.
Obliterated.
I can't afford to spare that thing.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I'm gonna drop the Jade for the Sapphires and leave the rest behind. Okay, this is, it is starting to become clear that this wasn't my smartest decision. And that's saying something. Okay, looks like we're gonna be making camp if we survive this fight. Squiffy Gas. I can reach him with Poison Dart, and his blight resistance is relatively low. Run for the Old Gods does damage, but it's manageable. Alright. Mark for Death. I need Squiffy Gas gone. And that would be another... Oh, right. And now he's in position 1, where the sniper cannot reach him. Well... Without a critical, you won't kill her, but you can at least start wearing her down. Alright, Divine Grace. We're really going to be testing Druel's healing chops this time. Okay, gotta appreciate the bit of good news. The champion decided to use Barnacle Barrier on the other champion rather than on the Ghast, who absolutely needs to fucking die. And another bit of another moment to appreciate that the Cultist champion decided to use Rend for the Old God. Well, wait, that's the only thing he can do. So he threw the Ghast back into position 2. Now I can hit him with both Thrown Dagger and Sniper Shot. Okay, just one more. Off-kilter Jig. Okay, large amount of stress and horror.
The mind.
Alright, Druel, just be the leader we need you to be and just keep everyone healed. And Vilhardane, end him. Okay, that's an end of the extra mega super stress. Now it's just a matter of ending the actual enemies. Of course, we still have to do a stressful incantation because one extra stress causing enemy just wasn't enough. Okay, how do I want to do this? Let's go with Thrown Dagger. That should bring her health low enough that I can finish her off with Sniper Shot without the target being marked. Alright. And it is. Alright, that's one problem solved. Okay, get the champion marked for death because you can reduce his protection to slightly more manageable levels. How much is Owlbear bleeding for? He's bleeding for 6. The Whispers. Alright. And you can go for... So, Aubert and Vilhardane can go for the champion using the fact that he's marked. And while the cultist champion may not be marked, he is human, so he automatically takes extra damage from Collect Bounty. Of course, that does assume that Collect Bounty manages to hit. But then again, I kind of want the cultist champion to die last. Because that way I have an excuse to use,
Mortality
Rallying
clarified in a
Flare.
single strike.
I'm really glad I accidentally brought 12 bandages. And it may not be enough. Shit.
Teetering on the brink.
Please don't
facing the
die,
abyss.
Aubert. Please don't die. Selfish. That's actually kind of understandable under the circumstances. Alright. Critical would be immensely appreciated right now, Vilhardane. But it is not to be. Oh.
This is no place for the weak or the foolhardy.
That's the end of Aubert, and Vilhardane's resolve is tested. And she's also selfish. I do in one shot what takes you a dozen swings. Fuck. That's the end of the mission. Okay, we can get rid of the champion. Well, wow. Yeah, this is gonna take some work to get rid of that champion.
Grievous injury.
And now a third hero's resolve is tested. And he's irrational. So he's succumbing to gibbering madness and talking about how he should have been a baker. Alright, let's see if we can stun that thing. We cannot. Let's see if we can kill it. We cannot. Let's see if Druel can survive Octocestus. She can. Okay, go for the healing. Two to 4. You could kill it, but instead you do 3 damage and don't kill it. Alright. Well, Sniper Shot should do the job. Okay, that's the end of that champion. Now we just have to deal with the other champion. Stick with Divine Comfort for now, because that's something that you can do. And Pass, which is pretty much irrelevant at this point. She could have used Rallying Flare, but that's irrelevant too, and you'll see why in a moment. Dazzle him with the pretty lights. Oh, wonderful. You skip your turn too, which also means I don't get to use a bandit. And Vilhardane decided to skip a turn again. Okay. Pennant, kill something. I said kill something, not swing and miss. I would have made that shot. You know what, Pennant? He was stunned. He had no way of dodging. I would have made that shot. Okay. So Drowning Flare, because it's all you can do. Why do we tarry to invite danger? Well, why did you miss? I've been trying to kill the enemy, and you guys keep screwing it up. Yeah, apparently my resolve was tested too when it came out abusive or something. There we go. That's the end of him.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay, and we're gonna have to retreat. Because I can't position this team in such a way that Druil and Vilhardane can actually use their good abilities. With Aubert's death, we're just out of luck. We have to abandon this quest. It won't kill any of them.
Regroup. Reassemble. Evil is timeless, after all.
But we made 7,000 gold, which is enough to fund the next mission. And Vilhardane is God-fearing, and Pennant has the ague. That's a very serious problem for a bounty hunter.
Finally, the serum is working.
Well, the
And
medical
side
ward is
effects are
free.
Manageable.
Side effects are manageable. Oh, the medical ward is free. I'm gonna treat some diseases. Now, we also have some stress we're gonna need to get rid of. Alright. Wait, where'd Druil go? Okay. Okay, so that happened. I flew too close to the sun, my wings melted, and we lost our grave robber. Though we do now have an adventurer Vestal who's ready to join the expedition to fill the empty seat, so that's helpful. We kind of need more healers.
A sister of battle,
Don't ask why.
pious and unrelenting.
And here's one last thing I'm going to do, which is we've lost a lot of trinkets lately. So let's see if we can take on the Shrieker. So who are we going to bring? Montfort is good. Especially since we don't have a Vestal to bring. So Montfort, Boissel, Dureri, and who's a good last team member? And Bernier. Alright. Unequip all trinkets. And for you... I said unequip all trinkets. Sort by character class restriction. There it is. For a second I couldn't find the Ancestor's Scroll, and I was thinking that somehow either we'd lost it or the Vestal still had it. And... not much reason to get you anything else, so may as well give you the evasion incense. I'm going for pretty much just a pure defensive team because the goal is for the most part just to survive. So for you, I may as well give you the Tempting Goblet. For our Leper, with the Fortunate Armlet, I'll give him the Redemption Armlet and move him into position 1. For the Crusader, definitely going with the Holy Orders and the Defender's Seal. Alright, let's see if we can get some of our equipment back. Okay, all we really need is torches. I don't even need that many. That should do. So let's quick make sure everyone has the abilities they should have. Hew, Chop, and Solemnity. Smite, Zealous Accusation, Stunning Blow, and Inspiring Cry. You always have all of your abilities equipped. And Murder Construction, Vulnerability, Hex. Not a lot of benefit to vulnerability hex since this isn't a mark exploitation team, so I'll replace that with abyssal artillery. And let's see if we can get some of our gear back and maybe get some of those useful, unique quirks. Okay, 1, 2, 3 hit points. So is it 1, is it 2, or is it 3? Really should have gotten bandages, but the thought did not occur to me. I got all the bandages last time, apparently. And... what are the odds that you can stun the Shrieker? That was worth trying. Wait, you have no way of attacking the nest right now. I've just made a horrible mistake. Because most of these guys can't actually reach the nest when it's in the back. Well, may as well use Transform then. And slam.
Masterfully executed.
And now, Shrieker's Nest is in a position where they can hit it. Weird Reconstruction. We've been getting some good numbers for Weird Reconstruction. Ooh.
Reeling. About to break.
Actually, I probably should have moved him forward instead. Peck does a lot more damage in this game. Unfortunately, we're going to have to continue targeting the Shrieker. We're doing a lot of damage to it, at least. Like, more than you would think.
Cannot be left unanswered.
Rage against the dying of the nest. Ooh. Okay, Blossel's just barely has enough hit points that he doesn't go into death's door immediately.
Or expire.
And he gets the highest possible roll for Weird Reconstruction. Blossel, you the real MVP this mission. You have just been getting some truly amazing healing rolls. Chop? You know what? Bernier, I actually really don't want to understate how powerful Bernier has been with this mission too. He has gotten some unbelievably good hits on the Shrieker itself, which has that ridiculous evasion stat.
Unnerved.
Okay, Blossel's in a bit of a bad way. But he's not dead. And Weird Reconstruction again gives us a truly profoundly amazing roll. Just go with Inspiring Cry. I kind of screwed up with this team composition. I can't really get the Crusader into a good position. And it retreats moments before being killed. Like, I actually almost killed the Shrieker. If I'd had a good team composition, rather than the one that I went with, I actually could have pulled that off.
More destructive than 100 cannons.
Okay, that's 2 people being,
Monster's size has no intrinsic merit, unless
Still,
inordinate exsanguination
we did win.
considered a virtue.
And we got another Sacred Scroll. I was hoping for the Tome of Holy... and we got 2 Tomes of Holy Healing. And we got the Sniper's Ring back, though we don't really need it so much anymore. But, okay. We got a pretty good portion of our gear back. Okay, Cove Explorer is not as good as Beast Slayer. Cove Tactician ain't bad. Okay, Paranormania and the Red Plague. Durari has some problems now. Corvid's Grace, plus 6 dodge and plus 25% move resistance. That, I'd say, qualifies as receiving a unique... being rewarded with a unique quirk. Especially on an occultist. Dodge and move resistance are always good for an occultist.
We dug for months, years, an eternity. and we were rewarded with madness.
Unfortunately, we are kind of in a bit of a sad state. We have a number of people who are severely stressed and not really enough gold to properly treat them. So we're gonna need to send an antiquarian on a mission to resupply us with gold. Probably Fairfax. Let's see what the stagecoach has to offer us. Nothing terribly special. But we're gonna need to resupply with gold in addition to trying to train everyone up. So this is gonna be the end for this part. We've gotten some trinkets back, we've leveled up a few people, we've lost somebody. So it's been quite a ride, but this is the end of it. I love you all, thank you all for watching, I will see you next time.